It's been my experience that the majority of shoulder issues arise from an either immobile or an unstable shoulder blade. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Shit Trainer Say. These are conversations that we have every day with our clients, and we thought, why not put them on a podcast so everybody can benefit from them or join in on the conversation? And you can tell us if you found something helpful, if it sparked questions in you and you want to get those questions answered, topics that you want us to discuss, or if you just think we're in general full of shit, you can let us know all of those things and we'll be happy to address them. I'm Jim Adams. I'm the owner of Catalyst, and I'm back today with my right-hand woman, Debbie Roman, the general manager of Catalyst.
Hello.
And we're here. We actually had a couple of submissions that we wanted to tackle today in the podcast. How are you doing today, Deb?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I see you just finished your workout at Catalyst.
Yes, I'm sorry about
So you got a little
so glamorous.
That's all right. You got a little schwitz going on. That's very appropriate for a trainer.
Oh, okay, cool then.
All right. And then our first submission came to us through the YouTube channel. It came from Dr. Vinkman. And I'm going to date myself here. So for those of you who don't know who Dr. Vinkman is, it was the character that Bill Murray played in the original Ghostbusters. So Dr. Vinkman was, it was a good movie. Still is a good movie. Well, Dr. Vinkman wanted to know, could you speak to certain exercises or gym equipment to avoid for shoulder issues? For example, my dumbbell push presses are fine, but if I use the barbell, I get shoulder problems. I think it's mechanism, but I do not see others train the same push press with barbells. And the answer to that is simple but not easy. So the shoulder joint is a very complex joint because it trades stability for mobility. Most joints just have a fixed range of motion, just flexion and extension. That's it, kind of two-dimensional. Where the shoulder joint and the hip joint for that matter, but especially the shoulder joint, has 360 degrees of mobility. So in order to get that kind of range of motion, you have to sacrifice a little stability. So really the only thing holding the shoulder in place is ligaments. And then you've got some very small muscle groups, 4 of them, called the rotator cuff. And then on top of that, you have the deltoids. And then attached to that, you have pec, bicep, rhomboids, traps, all kinds of muscles intersect at that shoulder. So it makes it a very complex joint. But it's been my experience that the majority of shoulder issues arise from an either immobile or an unstable shoulder blade. And what I mean by that, simple way you can test that theory out is to just hold your arm out and then have somebody push down, and you won't be able to resist very hard. But if you do the same thing and then you lock that shoulder blade into place, they're going to have a much harder time pushing your arm down. So that's what I mean by the shoulder blade being the key to the shoulder joint. You have to lock it down, and that gives the shoulder firm base to operate from. I call it, if your shoulder blade's out here and it's not locked down, it's like firing a cannon out of a canoe. You just won't have any stability. And then all of that force is going to get transferred to those muscles and ligaments and tendons and cause damage. And another thing about the shoulder blade, it has a little hook on it that if you don't get it out of the way, so if this is your arm bone, this is the hook of that shoulder blade, and then there's a rotator cuff muscle that threads through there called the supraspinatus. And if you don't get the shoulder blade out of the way, it pinches that little groove where the supraspinatus goes, and it's like rubbing a rope against a rock. It's going to fray it. And so that's the most common rotator cuff muscle that is injured, is that supraspinatus. And it's usually frayed and not just torn like it's been sliced, but it's frayed like rubbing a rope against the rock. So you have to really work on your shoulder blade mobility and stability. Yeah, which is why the push presses, Dr. Vinkman, probably don't hurt you as much, because you can be in what we call a neutral grip when you are in a push press. Right here, it's much easier, it gets the shoulder blades out of the way a little bit more and allows you a bigger range of motion here than if you go with a barbell. Then that kind of locks them into place. And then so if you don't have good scapula mobility or stability, then you're going to get that grinding, that rubbing that we just talked about, and it's going to irritate your shoulders. And there's no such thing as working through that kind of pain. And it's not one of those things, and it's not okay if you say, well, it hurts a little bit when I start, but after I warm up, it's better. No bueno, right? So it shouldn't hurt at all, even during warm-ups. Deb, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, and I think, it's really hard to really give one, answer to this question, because we don't really know, what grip he has, if is he sitting down, is he standing up, if is he using his legs maybe to do the push press movement. But I mean, not even taking that in consideration, the main difference when you train with a barbell and when you train with a dumbbell is that a dumbbell is going to allow you to move a little bit more freely. So you're going to be able to, quote unquote, cheat. Many times, like if you do an incline dumbbell chest press, if you're not careful, you're going to end up using your shoulders. So it's the same thing with any kind of upper body dumbbell exercise. You really want to make sure that the weight is not that heavy. Leave the ego in the door, and just focus on the form. Focus on just keeping those shoulders back and down, and then do the same thing with the barbell. The barbell is going to lock you in that position. So if you're not strong enough, if you're not stable enough, your range of motion is going to be way smaller. And that's okay. You just probably need to lower the weight a little bit, and then just work your way up to the weight that you want to lift.
Yeah, and you brought up two really good points. One, dumbbells, they allow you a bigger freedom of motion, because not everybody moves the same, right? Not everybody has the same, their bones are different lengths where their tendons attach are different. So everybody moves different. Yeah. And dumbbells allow your body to move in its natural movement, right? Versus a barbell or a machine that fixes you into a certain plane of movement, whether that works for you or not. All you have to do is provide the resistance and move it along that plane or that track. But it may not be the way that your body moves naturally, which is why dumbbells allow you that freedom of movement. And so it allows you to get into a stronger position for those scapulas, for your shoulder blades, and then can help you eliminate the pain. The other thing that I wanted to address, and I see this a lot with clients, is that they come in with strained rotator cuffs. And so everybody's focused on, even if you go to PT, they're going to be focused on rotator cuff exercises. Not many, more PTs are starting to catch on to it, but the good ones are already know this, but they'll have you do some scap exercises as well. But when people come in and they do rotator cuff exercises, so you're doing this right here, you're doing this right here, all those rotator cuff exercises, I see, and more so with guys and girls, they want to use the heaviest weight possible. And that's counterproductive. And the reason why it's counterproductive is you have big muscles and you have little muscles, right? Little muscles, they know their limits. They know that they can't handle anything over a certain threshold. Anything over this threshold, they hand off to the bigger muscles, right? So on your shoulder, you have the little muscles, which are the rotator cuff muscles. And then you have the big muscles, which are the deltoids, the pecs, the biceps, the lats, the traps. All of those are bigger muscles. So if you're trying to strengthen your rotator cuff with a lot of weight, guess what? Your rotator cuff muscles aren't
Yeah.
even working. You're
Cheating.
working the bigger muscles and continuing to neglect your rotator cuff muscles. So rotator cuff muscles don't need a tremendous amount of resistance, but they do need higher reps. They have a higher rep threshold than some of the
Yeah.
bigger muscles. So make sure you're picking the right tool, the right weight for the right job. Anything? I mean, I can go on about the shoulder forever, but anything else you want to add, Deb?
Just make sure that you are. I mean, this is going to take us to the next question, but just make sure that you're progressing properly and that you're, because depending on the range of motion or the direction of the shoulder that you're trying to do, like if you're doing overhead press, you're going to be able to maybe go a little bit heavier, but if you're doing some abduction or internal rotation or external rotation, then you need to go lighter. So talk to a trainer, talk to someone who can help you with it, just to get the form, just to get the basics, and then just continue to progress with the weight repetitions as comfortably as you can, but also making sure that you're challenging yourself.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to end that question, is that let pain be your guide. If it hurts, stop. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then also go see a professional, go see a physical therapist, go see a qualified trainer. It's one who has experience in shoulder issues, and see what they say. Have them take a look at you, have them take you through a movement assessment, have them, kind of analyze you. If you go to a trainer and you say, I have some shoulder pain, and they're like, okay, and they don't do an assessment, or they don't look at the way you move or change the way you move or talk to you about the way you move, find another trainer. And then, so that takes us to our next topic. I was training a client, and he said, man, if you come to Catalyst, you will get stronger. And I was talking to him, and I said, the reason that is because after we do our assessment, we write you a program. And this is your weight week 1, your weight week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. So each week we're tracking your weights, tracking your form, and your weights go up. So at the end of the program, you are stronger. And we prefer that approach over what I call the shotgun approach, where you go in and it's like a full body blast every time. And you're doing like an AMRAP, as many reps as you can in a certain time, or picking just random weights and going in. It will get you in better shape, but will it get you stronger? I don't think you'll gain strength as fast with the shotgun method as you will with the periodization and progressive approach. Your thoughts?
Unless you have enough experience that you pretty much remember, what exercises you did last week, what weights you were using. Like, I mean, I do believe that at some point, maybe you're not going to want to progress anymore. Maybe you're just going to maintain, and you just want to, keep like good health and good fitness. And then that might be a good approach. But if you're someone who has specific goals, progression is the only way that you're going to know for sure if you're getting stronger, because sometimes just more weight does not mean progression. Sometimes your form, sometimes your recovery time, sometimes, repetitions, power, intensity. So there are many things.
Tempo.
Right. There are many things that you need to track. And that's why, we do that with our clients, because we know that stronger bodies are going to bring our clients stronger lives and just better lives in general. That's the whole point of fitness and wellness. And we know that our clients have specific goals. So we want to give them what they need, but also what they want. And I think that keeping track of their progress is the only way that we could do that.
Yeah. It goes back to the old saying that pops in my head all the time, is what gets measured gets managed. So it all depends on what your goals are. If your goals are just kind of overall, if you're starting at 0 and you just want to improve your overall fitness, you will see dramatic improvements from the shotgun approach, no question about it. but at a certain point you will begin to plateau. And so
Mm-hmm.
from there, then you need to get progressive with your workouts. So
Yeah.
it all depends on what your goals are. But if you're not measuring it, then you're not really managing it. Like if you want
Yeah. You don't
to
know.
get your legs stronger, if you want to run, at a faster pace, or if you want to decrease your triathlon times, or if you want to be able to, do X amount of push-ups or a pull-up, something along those lines, then you need to measure and manage that aspect of your health and fitness routine if you want to see an improvement.
Yeah. And
Body
I
fat,
think
weight, all of that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I think there's a time and place for the shotgun approach. Like maybe you're doing like a deload week, or you just want to change things up and try different things, try different exercises, and you just want to go and have fun at the gym. I feel like, I personally do it like every 6 weeks or so. Like I just don't do my program and I just like do whatever. And I just try to see how my body is feeling, what feels good, what I need to strengthen. And that will give an idea of what you need to do moving forward. It's just a cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to mix it up because otherwise you get burnt out, because
Yeah.
tracking and trying to progress and managing something takes a lot of mental RAM, right? And so that can become actually stressful. And most people
Yeah.
want to exercise to relieve stress. So if it's becoming too stressful for it, then just forget about it. Turn your brain off, go in and move your body and move some weights around, get your heart rate pumping, get a good sweat on, and just enjoy it. Turn your brain
Yeah.
off and work out some stress. And that will help you if you want to go back to the measured progressive method. But
Mm-hmm.
each one, there's no right or wrong tool. It's just a matter of which tool that you want to use for the job. And so
Right.
it's really important to, do that consciously, so that you
Yeah.
can avoid burnout. And because the key to any health and fitness program is consistency, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
if you want to keep consistent with your health and fitness, then you got to avoid burnout. And one of the ways you avoid burnout is by mixing it up.
Yeah. And sometimes you get so like into the idea that you need to train, you need to follow a program, you need to do this and do that, but you kind of forget to, it is okay to take breaks, it is okay to mix it up, it is okay to just do whatever your body is asking you to do that day. And it's something that's going to take time. And that's why, again, I go back to, you need a good coach, you need a good trainer who's going to help you understand how your program is working, who's going to assess you every 6 or 8 weeks and is going to let you know what you need to work on. It's it's a journey that sometimes when you do it on your own, you're going to feel lost unless you have the knowledge. So, even if you don't want to commit to a training program with a trainer, most trainers, we're really open to just give advice if you come and ask. We're not going to try to sell you anything, and I feel like sometimes people have that idea about us. Like they don't want to come and talk to the trainer because they think that we're going to just go and try to sell them training sessions, and that's not necessarily the case. So you are more than welcome to send us an email, text, and just have us review what you're doing and we can help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 very good topics today, and we appreciate Dr. Vinkman. Thanks for your submission. And hopefully you get past Lothar and the Keymaster. But if anybody else out there has any questions, fire away. You can contact us at info@catalyststl.com. info@catalyststl.com. And until next time, we hope you are well.
Bye.
Bye, guys.